Are you a millennial struggling with managing your finances? You're not alone. It's no secret that many of us are grappling with the realities of personal finance. But don't worry. Developing good financial habits early on can set the stage for a future of financial stability, and it's never too late to start. Over the course of this video, we'll explore some key areas you should focus on. We'll start with the basics of budgeting, including how to track expenses and prioritize savings. Next, we'll dive into strategies for managing debt, from student loans to credit cards. We'll also discuss the fundamentals of investing and how to build your emergency savings. Finally, we'll touch on planning for retirement, because it's never too early to think about those golden years. So, buckle up as we navigate through the world of personal finance, tailored specifically for millennials. First and foremost, let's talk about budgeting. It's the cornerstone of financial freedom, and it doesn't have to be as complicated as it sounds. Picture your budget as a roadmap for your money. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. Creating a budget starts with understanding your income and expenses. It's crucial to know exactly how much money is coming in and going out. Start by noting down every source of income you have. Then, track every single expense. Yes, every single one, from your morning coffee to your monthly rent or mortgage payments. There are plenty of mobile apps and online tools that can assist you with this. Once you have a clear picture of your income and expenses, the next step is to prioritize. Prioritizing means deciding what's necessary and what's not. Essentials like housing, groceries, utilities, and healthcare should obviously come first. But remember, your savings is also a priority. And speaking of savings, let's not forget about them. It's easy to think of saving as something you do with the money left over at the end of the month. But a better approach is to treat your savings as another necessary expense and include it in your budget from the get-go. This is known as the pay yourself first method. Now, here's the trickiest part of budgeting: sticking to it. To do this, you need to make your budget realistic and flexible. Be honest with yourself about your spending habits, and don't forget to allocate some money for fun. Yes, fun is a part of life, and your budget should reflect that. Also, remember that your budget isn't set in stone. Life happens, and sometimes unexpected expenses come up. When they do, adjust your budget accordingly and get back on track as soon as you can. So, to recap, track your income and expenses, prioritize your spending, save first, and keep your budget flexible. You'll find that budgeting is less about penny pinching and more about making your money work for you. Remember, a budget is not a restriction, but a financial game plan. Next, let's tackle the elephant in the room: debt. It's a daunting word, isn't it? But remember, it's not a life sentence. It's just a financial challenge we need to strategize for. So let's dive into it. First, let's talk about student loans. These loans are often the first substantial financial obligation for many of us. The key here is to understand your repayment options. Some plans base your monthly payments on your income, which can help if you're just starting out or don't have a high-paying job. While it might be tempting to opt for the smallest payment possible, remember the longer it takes to pay off, the more interest you'll end up paying. So try to pay more than the minimum when you can. Credit card debt. Now that's a tricky one. With high interest rates and easy access, it's easy to fall into the trap. But don't panic, you can get out of it. Start by making a list of all your cards and their interest rates. Your priority should be to pay off the card with the highest interest rate first. This strategy is called the avalanche method. It might seem counterintuitive to focus on one debt, but remember, the faster you clear high-interest debt, the less you'll pay in the long run. Lastly, let's touch on other financial obligations. Maybe you've got a car loan or a mortgage. Similar to student loans, explore your repayment options. Consider refinancing if interest rates have dropped since you took out the loan. However, always factor in the costs of refinancing to make sure it's worthwhile. Now, managing debt is not just about paying it off. It's also about preventing it from growing. That's where good budgeting comes into play. It helps ensure you live within your means and avoid unnecessary debt. Debt might seem overwhelming, but with a clear strategy, it's manageable. Remember, you're not alone in this. Millions are navigating their way out of debt, and so can you. It's all about taking that first step towards a debt-free life. Now let's talk about making your money work for you. It's time to venture into the fascinating world of investing. You see, investing isn't just about stashing your money somewhere and hoping for the best. It's about strategically placing your money in various avenues to grow over time. Let's start with compound interest, often called the eighth wonder of the world. This is when the interest you earn on your initial investment begins to earn interest itself. It's a snowball effect that can significantly enhance the growth of your money over time. Then there's diversification. Imagine not putting all your eggs in one basket, but spreading them across several. That's what diversification is all about. It allows you to spread your investments across different assets to reduce risk and potentially increase returns. The earlier you start investing, the more time your money has to grow. So don't wait for tomorrow. Start today. Investing might seem complicated, but it's a key component of financial growth. Let's move on to a critical, yet often overlooked aspect of personal finance: emergency savings. Picture this: you're cruising along, your finances are in good shape, and then, out of the blue, your car breaks down. Or perhaps you lose your job suddenly. These unexpected events can throw a wrench into even the most well-planned budgets. And that's where an emergency fund comes into play. An emergency fund is essentially a stash of money set aside to cover the financial surprises life throws your way. These unexpected events can be stressful, not to mention costly. But having an emergency fund can provide a financial safety net, so you don't have to rely on credit cards or loans to cover these surprises. So, how do you go about building an emergency fund? Well, the first step is deciding how much you need. A good rule of thumb is to aim for enough to cover 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. This might seem like a daunting figure, but remember, you don't have to save it all at once. Start by setting small, achievable savings goals. Maybe that's setting aside 10% of each paycheck, or maybe it's just skipping that daily coffee shop trip and putting that money into savings instead. Every little bit helps, and over time, it will add up. Next, make your savings automatic. Most banks offer automatic transfers between your checking and savings accounts. You can set them up to happen every payday, so you'll be saving without even thinking about it. Finally, keep your emergency fund separate from your regular checking account. It's tempting to dip into your savings for everyday expenses, but remember, this fund is for emergencies only. Building an emergency fund may take time and discipline, but the peace of mind it provides is worth every penny. Remember, life is unpredictable. Having an emergency fund can help you navigate those unexpected turns with a little less stress. An emergency fund is your financial safety net, so start building it today. Finally, let's look ahead to the future: retirement. Now, I know what you're thinking. Retirement? That's ages away. But here's the thing. The sooner you start planning, the more comfortable your retirement will be. There are several avenues you can explore to start saving for this phase of life. One option is employer-sponsored plans. If your workplace offers a 401k or a similar plan, it's a fantastic way to start. Often, employers will match a portion of what you contribute, making it even more beneficial. Another retirement savings option is an individual retirement account, or IRA. There are two main types, traditional and Roth. Each has its own tax advantages, so take some time to research and see which one suits your financial situation best. Retirement might seem far off, but the earlier you start saving, the better off you'll be. So why not start today? Your future self will thank you. So what have we learned today? We've journeyed through the landscape of financial habits, understanding the importance of these habits, especially in the world of millennials. We've explored the essentials of budgeting, understanding the art of tracking expenses, and the importance of prioritizing savings. We've delved into the realm of debt management, arming ourselves with strategies to tackle student loans, credit card debt, and other financial obligations. We've also ventured into the future, learning basic investment concepts like compound interest and diversification. We've discovered the significance of building emergency savings and the peace of mind it can bring. Lastly, we've peeked into the future, understanding the various avenues for retirement savings. Each of these habits is a stepping stone on the path to financial freedom and security. They're not just concepts, but actions to be taken, practices to be incorporated into our daily lives. Remember, it's never too early to start making smart financial decisions. Start today, and your future self will thank you.